Good morning, Earthlings. Hello everyone, Aaron here, aka AJ, aka Papa. It is January 22nd, 2020, and I'm back with another vlog to feast your eyes and ears indubitably upon my little bumpkins of love. So much to tell you today. I just got back from dropping Zachary off at work and it is freezing outside. I'm not here for it. My reading is going well. Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Lightning Thief is phenomenal. The pace is super quick. I'm already 100 pages into it and I'm really enjoying that. So thank goodness for a book that I'm pumped about. Today I wake with no pain, which makes me so happy. There's little bodily, discomfort right now. I did do my yoga for the normal allotted time, or the normal amount of time that I do usually, and it went well. I was in a little pain when I got up off the floor, but I'm good today, so I'm happy about it. And I really have noticed that I'm getting stronger. The down dogs and the up dogs and all that stuff are becoming so much easier. And I think back to just like the first time I got down on the floor to do some of these things, and how just getting on the floor was a challenge. So grateful to have made some progress, and so grateful, or looking forward to seeing where this road's gonna lead me in the next 100 days. So I dug out some of my old piano books, like actual lesson books, as opposed to just like going through and playing songs randomly. I got out some of the books that I was intended to learn from but never followed through on. So I've been working through some of that stuff and playing through some music that I've never played through before, and really focusing on hitting note for note. So I'm working on making some progress in the piano realm, and still always in the back of my head just listening for little tunes and little turns of phrase that work well for music. So that's going well as well. Did I tell you guys about the commercial that I'm doing? I don't think I did, and it kind of sprung on me, and then I didn't think about it for a little while, and now today is the day. The delivery company that I work for has reached out to me a few days ago and asked me if I would be willing to do a spot on a local like food show. And so since we deliver food, they were hoping that I would come in, or hoping that the company would come in and have one of the delivery drivers sort of act out delivering some food while saying a line. And so they reached out to me to see if I would be willing to do it, and of course I was, because I live for the stage. And so I'm going to do that today, and I'm pretty excited about it. I've been rehearsing the line, which was a little bit of a doozy for me, but sometimes you get those lines that are challenging to you, and they don't just naturally roll off the tongue, and this is one of them. But I'm excited to do it. I probably won't share the commercial on here just because I'm not going to be the type to share specifically where I'm working and stuff, just as a conflict of interest. So, but anyway, just know it's happening and I'm excited. Other than that, today it's going to be just work as usual. After the commercial, I go straight to the bookstore, and then after the bookstore, I deliver tonight. So it's going to be a full day, but it's going to be a good day. And, I've pretty much caught up everything that I was running behind on bill-wise and such, and I'm a little bit ahead of schedule to start putting rent together and everything, so I'm in good shape, guys. I'm excited that, just a little time of, really focusing on abundance and positivity, and like literally my situation is completely turned around. It's crazy how quick it happened. Speaking of focus and all of that good stuff, how are things going with you guys? Are you working on your journals? Are you meditating daily? Are you focusing on skill sets that will lend you closer to the goals that you are hoping to achieve? If you're not, I encourage you to start today, because if you don't start today or tomorrow or just sometime, it'll never happen. So remember, guys, that in order for you to get to where you want to be, you have to do something different than what you've done in the past. The past has yielded you your present situation, and if you're not where you want to be, then you need to change what you've done in the past to yield a different result in the future. Remember that, guys. And just remember, I've given you tools, so use the journal, use meditation, use determined focus, use visualization, and practice the skill set of the things that it is that you want to do. You will see results, I promise you that. And we're going to get back to talking a little bit more about things you can do to kind of fine tune the process of manifesting into your life the things that you want. And we're going to get back to that. But I wanted to give you all time to kind of settle into a routine of checking in on the journal every day, meditating on the visualizations that you've written, refining those. And once we've refined them to the point where we are really satisfied with how they sound and how they read, and they evoke a vision in your mind when you read them, then we're going to get back to work on some other things, guys. Now, with that being said, it's time to get to quote of the day. Zen quote of the day, folks. Zen quote of the day comes from Eckhart Tolle. I've always been saying his name as Tolle, but apparently it's Tolle, and it goes a little bit like this. Wherever there is anger, there is always pain underneath. Someone once told me, and I can't remember who it was, I wish I could, but they told me that anger is a secondary emotion, and that struck me as really interesting because when I asked them what that meant exactly, they basically just told me that anger isn't a real emotion. Underneath anger is the true emotion: sadness, hurt, fear. It could be any number of emotions, but anger is not a real one. It is one that arises when we refuse to express or refuse to acknowledge the emotion that lies underneath of it. It really can be most emotions. I mean, I have working in the restaurant industry, people get angry when they're hungry, and when they sometimes even don't recognize that that's what's going on. They're really mean and they're cranky, and then as soon as they get food, they are sweet as can be. It's the strangest phenomenon. Quite often, people will be having, let's say, just a conversation with somebody, and that person says something that hurts their feelings, and instead of saying, wow, that really hurt my feelings, they react angrily and lash out at the person speaking, and it causes a big thing, a big rift, or it could just be like a little spat and then people get over it. But at the end of the day, whenever somebody reacts in an angry way, the only way that people get over that rift or that spat is when the person finally relents and expresses the emotion that was underlying the anger, and that usually resolves the issue. We all know that anger benefits no one, right? This is not information that's new to anybody. Nobody likes being angry. Nobody likes having someone angry at them, yet it happens quite a bit. And the reason why is because people get, in psychology, what is called triggered. And typically they get triggered by emotions that are specifically difficult for them to heal from, or specifically difficult for them to express. A fantastic plan of action is to know which emotions trigger you and which situations trigger those emotions. If you can do that, the power is really in your hands, and you can sort of pretty easily avoid situations that make those emotions arise. Or you can go even further as to address those emotions to a point where you express them adequately in the moment. So, for instance, if somebody says something that hurts your feelings, you can learn how to bypass that anger and say, oh God, that made me a little angry because it hurt my feelings. And a person can get past the whole drama of the anger just by saying, you can still express the anger, that made me angry, but say it made me angry because, and then state the underlying emotion. And that takes a little bit of the sting out of the situation. I know a lot of times I can get very touchy when I feel inadequate in the area of a subject or not knowing something. I can feel like somebody is trying to make me out to be dumb, even though that makes no sense whatsoever. And because of that, I will sometimes lash out when I don't feel smart about something, which is silly, but I can trace it back to a specific instance that, that trauma makes me get triggered about the subject. And I know it's very hard to step over that anger and say, hey, I feel inadequate on this subject. I'm frustrated and angry because I don't feel smart in this situation. And what's interesting is sometimes when I'm able to step over that anger and be vulnerable to people and express that I feel inadequate and that it's frustrating me, it's amazing how compassionately people will react to the truth. Whereas if I had reacted with anger, which is 75% of the time, let's just be real, they react in a likewise defensive way, and it turns into a mess until I'm able to say, ugh, I'm so sorry about my reaction to that. It had nothing to do with you. So what are your trigger situations? What are your trigger emotions? Get into your journal today and figure out what are those situations that never fail make you angry, and write them down and start to figure out why it is that you get angry in those situations. Tear the anger down and find the underlying emotion behind it, and that will give you all the power you need to address those situations in a way that will give you back the power and not leave you feeling helpless. Because in the end of the day, it's all about vulnerability, right? We don't want to feel vulnerable. Our ego doesn't want to feel vulnerable, so we will react in a way that tells people, get away from me, I don't want to be vulnerable. And if we can get past this whole ego thing, get past this whole vulnerability thing, and get to a place where we feel comfortable expressing our true emotions, anger may become a thing of the past, guys, and that would be truly amazing, would it not? I love you guys very much. I will talk to you later. Bye! Hey guys, how's it going? All done for today. I did work 7 hours about today, and then I did a couple of deliveries after the bookstore, but nothing really substantial. Wasn't very busy, so I clocked out early and came home, and I'm cooking some curry for dinner. And yeah, the commercial went well today. I'll tell you guys more about that tomorrow though, but I'm gonna get off here and I will talk to you guys later. I love you very much. Okay, bye.